Sorry.
because we're either our moms all read us the same stories. But
Yes.
imagine, I mean, just at the drop of a hat, all of us remember those. So imagine being able to read rhymes that teach you about your history and also make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
Because the more you learn about your history and yourself, you feel good. Just like in your family, if you knew that your great uncle or your great grandfather or your great grandmother owned this or did that, it makes you feel good.
Right.
And oftentimes, you know, especially for Blacks in America, we learn just about slavery. This is our history lesson. One day we were in Africa, the next day we are on a slave ship, then plantation, and we made it to the ghetto. That isn't something that, we feel good about. So I wanted to help infuse. We have millions of years of history, not the 400-year little snapshot. We get millions of years of our history that I wanted to help infuse in my books.
Hello, friends of Brain Power TV. Welcome to another episode of Brain Power TV with Dr. Echo. I hope you're having a great Saturday today. So it's my big pleasure to introduce to you Miss Aisha Muhammad. She's a writer, she's an inspirational speaker, she's a fitness instructor, she's a professor of college success in writing. She's just amazing. So welcome, Aisha, to the show.
Thank you. Thank you. It's an honor to be here, Dr. Echo, and I look forward to interacting with your audience.
Yes, thank you. So, can you please tell us how you got to where you are in life doing all of these amazing things?
Okay. Well, I've always been fascinated with words and the meaning of words. I love to write. I love to write poetry, things like that. And I would give my students an assignment, for example, to explain the etymology or the meaning of their name. So my first name is Audrey, which my father liked Audrey Hepburn. So I would look that up, and that means noble and strong, and I will have students look that up. And so I always wanted to help children understand the meanings of words, because words have power.
They do.
Because we know in the beginning was the word,
Right.
and the word was God, and with God. So I started writing when I was very young in church, teaching Sunday school. And then one day, my brother and I were talking about all the different nursery rhymes that were out, and we decided to come up with some of our own. Because if I asked you in the audience to finish the sentence, Mary had a little, what
Lamb.
would you say? Yes, yes, everyone would say lamb,
Sorry.
because we're either our moms all read us the same stories. But
Yes.
imagine, I mean, just at the drop of a hat, all of us remember those. So imagine being able to read rhymes that teach you about your history and also make you feel good about yourself.
Right.
Because the more you learn about your history and yourself, you feel good. Just like in your family, if you knew that your great uncle or your great grandfather or your great grandmother owned this or did that, it makes you feel good.
Right.
And oftentimes, especially for Blacks in America, we learn just about slavery. This is our history lesson. One day we were in Africa, the next day we are on a slave ship, then plantation, and we made it to the ghetto. That isn't something that, we feel good about. So I wanted to help infuse. We have millions of years of history, not the 400-year little snapshot. We get millions of years of our history that I wanted to help infuse in my books.
Oh, wow. So yeah, let's hear it. Yeah, so can you tell us, I mean, I'll read one of your rhymes or let's talk
Oh, sure,
about
sure. So Actually, one of the first ones I did was Martin Had a Little Dream, because everyone is familiar with Martin Luther King. And I said, what if there was a way to share a little bit of history about him in a nursery rhyme? So this one is called Martin Had a Little Dream. So Martin had a little dream, a little dream, a little dream. Martin had a little dream of peace and equality. But everywhere that Martin went, Martin went, Martin went, everywhere that Martin went, he was treated unequally. The dream followed him around the world one day, the world one day, the world one day. The dream followed him around the world one day, but he died before it came to be. So in that short rhyme that you can teach, you can read to a child
Right.
who's learning to talk, and they're going to remember that, just like we
Right.
remember Mary
Right.
had a little lamb.
Yeah.
So this is a way to infuse history and then also self-esteem. My daughter grew up reading another one is called Pretty Little Black Girl, and this one shows a picture, because we just see like Goldilocks and other ones, but our children need to see themselves
Right.
in books, and
Yeah.
it's good for them mentally and spiritually. You talk about brain health. How about that? Feeling good about yourself. Okay, so this
Would
one's called
definitely,
Pretty Little Black Girl.
yeah,
Hmm?
that would definitely help your brain work better because you
Yes,
feel good
yes.
about yourself. Yes.
Exactly, exactly. With depression, and actually, I wrote this because I didn't feel good about myself. I didn't feel good about my hair,
Right.
my skin complexion, all of those things. And I said, imagine I want my daughter to grow up feeling good about who she is. So this one is called Pretty Little Black Girl. Pretty little black girl, smart and brave. You have pretty curls and natural waves. Be
Yeah.
proud of the pretty hair God gave. You're a pretty little black girl, smart and brave. Love yourself and see it's true. Everyone wants to be as pretty as you.
That's
Be
right.
proud of the pretty skin that God gave you. A pretty little black girl, smart and brave.
Love it. That's wonderful. So yeah, because Miss Aisha and I were talking about how literature is brain food. So would you like to
Hmm.
tell us exactly how that is?
Yes. So when we think about there's a spiritual reality to every physical reality.
Right.
Okay. So in order for our brains to be healthy, and our mind to be healthy, because we talk about mental health, right? And
Right.
anything that causes stress on our body affects our brain. It affects our mood. It affects different aspects of us, because we are chemical factories. Okay. And so when you're reading something that's positive, that makes you feel good, of course, it helps to enhance your brain, it helps to relax your brain. And
Right.
our children are bombarded with so many negative images.
Right.
And so if we can help, I'll put it this way, two thoughts can't occupy the same space at the same time.
Yep.
So the negative images that they see of Black women, Black men, Black children, all those things, we can replace those images with something positive. It has nothing against any other cultural race, because everyone, if I took a picture of us right now, a screenshot, you're going to look to see how you looked, right? So
Right.
there's nothing wrong with looking for ourselves in history and in literature.
Right.
And when we don't do that, and we're not able to have our children express themselves. I had an artist told me one time that expression is the opposite of depression. And what happens when children are not able to express themselves? That they're not able to see themselves in the literature, in pictures, on TV shows, or
Right.
so on and so forth, they don't feel good.
Yeah.
And so we want our children to be fed not only good food, healthy food, but also good mental food, good spiritual food. So
Right.
that's where I talk about literature, and that bonding time, that you get a chance to read nursery rhymes like these to your children every night. That's a bonding time too. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing all the way around.
Absolutely. No phones either.
Exactly.
Yes, and tell them the importance of how early should you start reading to your kids because that's major brain food. So tell them.
Yes, yes, yes. You should actually, when they're in the womb, you can talk to your baby.
That's right.
Rub your stomach. I did that. I was reading books to my daughter who was in the womb, and
Yeah,
she can hear me, you know.
they
And
can.
so when they're babies, because they're not reading yet, but what happens when they begin to read, because you're reading to them and they're 2 months old or they're 5 months old or 6 months old, they're going to get used to that. And readers are leaders, and they are our children. The best teacher is a good example. So if we're reading to them and they see us with a book, so as young as you can begin reading with your children. Before, I didn't even have let my daughter have a computer game or anything. She got used to having a book in her hand and became a prolific reader.
That's
So don't let anyone say, "Oh, this is for this age group, this is for that," because the children, once they begin talking, their vocabulary, if you read to them, their vocabulary will be amazing
yes,
once you begin.
it is.
So the age doesn't matter. Start doing it. I remember taking my daughter to the health food store, and because I would just talk to her, we're going to get some echinacea drops. So she would say, "Excuse me, do you have echinacea drops?" And they're like, "How does this little 4-year-old know that word?" And you explain it,
Right,
and she's used to the different things that I would read. So
right.
don't tell them something's a big word or small words. It's a word, and this is the meaning.
Love it. Don't tell them it's not a big word or a small word. It's a word with a meaning
That's
because
right.
they do have brains that work. They get
That's right.
yeah. And I tell my
Yes,
patients
yes.
all the time, when you're talking to your kids, even the baby, tell them the brown door. Can you open the brown
Mhm.
door for me? Because when they get to 5, 6, they would have heard these
Mm,
words for forever. In my practice, we give out books from 6 months to 5 years because we're trying to
exactly.
encourage parents. Read to your kids. I tell them, if you want your kids to do well in school, the people who do well in school are the people who read. The people who don't do well in school don't get read to and
Hmm.
definitely don't read. Yeah, you're absolutely right. So important. Yeah,
Exactly.
I can name that
Exactly.
or just
And
go.
I like that because it's
Yeah.
yes, and it's premeditated learning when you're adding those extra words where you say
Right.
it's the brown door instead of the door.
Right.
That's increasing their vocabulary. So that's an excellent example.
Yeah, yeah, I love it. Wow. So, what practical tips would you give to parents? Or actually, let's start with kids. To kids to
Mhm.
increase their love for reading.
Yes, yes. Definitely finding books about themselves that with children that look like them so that they would have a love for reading. Um, Making sure that we use positive words with our children. I'll give you a quick example about the power of words and being careful of what we use. I was teaching my brother how to read one day, and he said, "Oh, I just can't get it. I'm stupid." I said, "No, you're not." He said, "Yes, I am. I'm stupid." I said, "No, you're not." He said, "Yes, I am. Mom says it all the time."
Oh,
I stopped, and later that day, I went to talk to my mom, and I said, "Vincent, I was helping him with reading, and he just kept saying he couldn't do it because he was stupid and that you say he's stupid." And she said, and my mom is the sweetest, was the sweetest little lady. And she said, "I didn't say that boy was stupid. I told him to quit acting stupid and he could do it." But he didn't hear the word acting. He
nope.
just heard the word stupid. So when we look for books for our children, we're looking for things that help increase self esteem, historical books, teach them, like even with my book, there are Black millionaires in the book, Black historical figures,
Mm,
and getting into the habit, make going to the library an event or to the bookstore, Barnes and Nobles. You all get a drink and you let them pick out a book that's appealing to them,
that's
give
right.
them an opportunity. So those are some tips that I would give. Let them pick out a book. have reading time, support them in the reading, because reading is a process, and reading will make them better writers also.
Exactly. Actually, this summer, I put me and my kids on a reading challenge. So we're going to read 1,000 books as a family. So I get
Wow.
cracking on my reading. And yes, the library, rediscover the library. I take them
Mhm.
every week and it's like a date. So we get
Yes.
little ice cream afterwards and we go to the library and they're all excited. They pick out like 20 books. And I'm like, if you read this,
Wow.
read 50 books, I get you a little treat. That's like under $10. So it's nothing
No, that is
ordinary.
excellent.
It's just, yeah, just small things.
Yeah.
Encourage them. Like Aisha
And
said,
that's another tip.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's another tip. Make it an event. Like you said, go to the library each weekend and couple it with the ice cream and other positive things so that they associate it with something positive also. So that's an excellent idea.
Yeah, yes, yes. And I know I'm a pediatrician talking about ice cream, but yes, it's once a week and it's a
Uh-huh.
small amount. Let me just put it out there. I'm not
Exactly.
advocating for you to eat ice cream every day. No.
We did. Yes, yes. But once a week we can have a treat.
So yeah. Okay, wonderful. So what do you tell parents for they themselves to increase their reading? Because it's important for us as adults to keep reading, right?
Yes, yes, definitely. It's a relaxation time for us. We should always have an opportunity. I personally love to not only read novels, I'm getting more into biographies, but I love reading magazines.
Right.
Magazines have short articles that I can learn something in one sitting,
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I started my magazine, Virtue Today magazine,
yeah,
to have fitness information, to have business information, spiritual information. But if your children see you, like I said, the best teacher is a good example. If your children see you reading, they'll want to read. But if they've never see you with a book, they emulate what they see.
yeah.
So definitely for parents to have that time to read things that they enjoy. And now with the internet, you can look up any topic is at your fingertips. And I always tell parents and children, if there's something they're not sure about or they don't know, look it up, because don't be comfortable with not knowing. Okay,
I
make
like
it
that.
like I want to find out what it is, because again, knowledge is power, and the more knowledge that you have, then the more you're able to apply it, and then it becomes applied knowledge is true power.
Oh my gosh. Can we repeat that again? Applied knowledge is true power.
Yes,
So
because we know people who
yeah,
have a lot of information, right?
yeah.
Okay, but if we never apply it, we never use it,
Nope.
okay, then what do you have? So just as with your business and things that you took the information that you have and applied it to a nonprofit or applied it to this, so you're even more powerful as a doctor because you have these different platforms. So
Right.
we want to teach our children, study to learn and then learn to apply. Learn, how can I apply this information?
Yeah.
Study to learn and then learn to apply it, because else it's just sitting there, just like books on our bookshelf.
Shelves.
We'll just sit there if we don't read them.
Right. Right. And I think that's so important for parents that when for example, if your child comes to you and says, Mommy, how do you spell play? Instead of saying
Uh-huh.
spelling it for them, say, what do you think? Yeah, spell it to me
Mm-hmm.
first. And then if they
Mm-hmm.
try and they don't get it, then we can start working. And that's how you build I mean, they can
Mm-hmm.
go look it up, they can figure it out, and they still need help. Then you help them. But that's how they build
Yes,
the
yes.
muscle of, I want to know it and I want to learn it, and not just surface level learning, which they get passively.
Exactly.
Just feed it to me, just feed it to me. Yeah. So good.
Yes,
Love it.
yes. And it empowers them,
Mhm.
that they can go look it up, and now, oh, I found out what it means. And what's another word for that same word? And then now they've just doubled their vocabulary because they
Yeah.
found another word. Mom, what does melancholy mean? So let's look that up. Oh, it's another word for sad. So we can interchange that word and that word. And even to teach them that words have certain energy and power themselves.
Mhm.
So I would rather have someone say, oh, Miss Muhammad, that's a nice fragrance you're wearing, as opposed to, that's a different odor. You're like, odor has negative connotations, but fragrance, you think of something pleasant.
Present.
So
Yeah.
even when they're reading, we can talk about the meaning and the energy behind certain words, the connotations, the dictionary meaning, and then the different feelings that are associated with those words.
Yes. So you see, parents, we're not even, you don't even have to spend like this segregated time or this like stable certain amount of time with the kids. It can be while you're
Mm-hmm.
cooking. You can be having this discussion, right?
Mm-hmm.
It can
Mm-hmm.
happen at
Mm-hmm.
any time. So for the parents who say, I'm too busy to do that, you can do
Yes.
it in the car as you talk, like just the everyday conversation,
Mm-hmm.
just turn it into a mini lesson. Without them knowing, they're learning.
Yeah,
Yeah, so it's so cool. Learning on the go.
exactly. And even if you have like long commutes to the school or anything like that, you can have audiobooks playing. Like my daughter will tell you, I used to have the audiobook The Secret playing all the time.
Really?
And yeah, and she was a fifth grade valedictorian. In her speech, she mentioned, that if you can conceive it and believe it, she said, as my mom's book, The Secret, that we listen to every day, talk about, because when we're having them read something positive or listen to something positive, all of that affects how they begin to think, because we before what's the saying, every action is preceded by a thought. So what are we thinking about?
Right,
Because before you go reach for that bag of chips, or I'm going to work out, you start thinking about it first. You have the thought first. So
right.
again, reading positive things, reading about investing, reading about going to another country, other languages, all of those things are still stimulating the brain power too, and increasing the brain power.
Yeah, yes, because we use so little of our brain power is amazing. Yeah, just learning a second
Mm,
language will boost your brain power so much. Yeah. So it's
yes,
the possibilities are endless. So, yeah.
exactly.
So, I know you mentioned your fitness instructor. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes, so I grew up playing basketball. We had a basketball court in the back, and then after I stopped playing basketball, I still wanted to be physically fit, because I think that's naturally should be a part of our way of life. And I
Right.
started taking karate, American Kempo karate. Love karate. And then when Taibo came out, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever, to be able to punch and kick to the music. And so um, I became a certified aerobics instructor, and I started teaching kickboxing and also Zumba. So every Sunday at 9 a.m., I teach a exercise class. People are welcome to join. Go to getfittolive.eventbrite.com, getfittolive.eventbrite.com, and we have a fun time working out. All it takes is a few minutes, at least 10 minutes of exercise. Our workouts are 30 minutes of fat burning fun, but it relieves stress, it uplifts your mood, it helps your heart, it improves your immune system. So, exercising, just developing that habit of health, is so important. And for our children to see us working out,
Yes.
as opposed to just sitting on the couch all the time, that's something else that's very valuable. Reading, working out, because I grew up seeing my mom doing her jazzercise, so
Nice.
I knew it was important to do.
Right. So your class, is it just for moms, or can kids, or do kids join your class as well? Like with the
Oh,
moms?
sometimes mothers and daughters have joined. I've even had my nieces who they're 6 now. They join with their moms. Easy. It's fun. My daughter's been working out with me. So, but it's for women only. Just so women can feel comfortable with that. No men, but it's yeah, a fun time for women. Their children. It's short. It's easy, and like again, it builds up your stamina the more you do it. And I do it on Sunday so that when you can say you ended your week with a bang, with something good, or you're starting off your week with a workout. And it's all about, again, our spiritual health,
Right.
because spiritual health, when you feel good, your spirit feels good. Just like you can tell someone's spirit is down. We don't necessarily know about the brain necessarily, but what the spirit is down. And the spirit is down because sometimes of what we're thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep.
So when we're doing things that make our body feel good, that are good for us, our spirit is up. And of course, our brain health improves
Oh,
um,
okay.
too.
Yes, absolutely. Because that's something I like. I love what you just said, because a lot of times we talk about mindset, but we forget the
Hmm.
physical health of our brain. Because if we don't physically take care of our brain, so what exercise does is exercise increases the amount of oxygen in your brain. Your brain is the most oxygen hungry part of your body, organ in your body. So the more you exercise, the more oxygen flows through to your brain, and the better your brain functions. So it's just a cycle. It's very simple. Give the brain
Excellent.
what it
I'm going to use that explanation too as I'm
Yeah. Give
explaining.
the brain what it wants, and it will take care of you, basically. That's how it
Yes,
works.
yes.
So
Excellent. Excellent.
that's wonderful. So can you tell the viewers how and where they can find your book and your other programs that you have?
Yes, so if they go to blacknurseryrhymes.com, nice, sweet, and simple.
Yeah.
For your listeners, they'll be able to order a book and get a free calendar that has one of the nursery rhymes on it, and a calendar for 2021. So that's for this period of time, limited number available. So make sure that you log on to blacknurseryrhymes.com, and you'll get a free calendar with your order of your book. And for the fitness, it's at getfittolive.eventbrite.com. Getfittolive.eventbrite.com.
I love it. Thank you so much, Aisha, for coming on here and sharing your amazing knowledge with us. Really appreciate it.
You.
Uh,
Thank you, Dr. Echo, for having me. And thank you for the audience out there taking the time to listen in. And peace and blessings, everyone.
Yes, peace and blessings. Okay, take care and see you on the next episode. Bye.